This is the Practicing Christian, and this week's report is on knowing the right words to use. There are phrases such as a language of faith or a language of reverence that asks the question of how we think and act as practicing Christians. Let's look at a few parallels. If you're up to your ears in accounting work, you could begin to speak with friends and family about bottom lines and proper recording procedures, and can seem to reduce human relations to quantitative measurements. People in some other fields like phrases such as, whatever floats your boat, or you want it, you got it. These could perhaps signal a child that has whatever can be smoked, snorted, or injected is okay. Regional patterns can lead to us to say, you'd better do that now or I'll kill you. Perhaps meaningless to the speaker, but shocking to the neighbors. A common word used now in almost every place we go is whatever. It seems to convey that the speaker either doesn't care what you do, has no preferences, or doesn't care what he himself is doing. It's almost a language of anomie, of lawlessness, which means rootlessness, isolation, disorientation. Practicing Christians are described in the Bible as being people who don't have to suffer from this. You are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are citizens with the saints and also members of the household of God, in whom Jesus Christ, you also are built together spiritually into a dwelling place for God. That's Ephesians 3:19-23. The language we use either holds that good work together, or it may bless us when we're spending time with other people. You generally find that what's important to them, what they value, and what they despise rather quickly either ties in with what you do or doesn't. You don't have to quiz them directly, ask embarrassing or tricky questions. But then they don't need to do that with you either. Most people will figure out what you are all about in short order. That brings to mind a sly old question. If you were accused of being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? In looking at different Christians and Christian groups, one thing stands out like a bright light. Those who are in small groups that meet regularly have the best sense of themselves as Christians and the strongest ability to stay with what their faith is all about. Covenant groups are one of the most common examples of this. Usually 8 to 12 people meeting at home or at a restaurant or a church or some building somewhere weekly, sometimes less often. A little Bible study, a lot of sharing, caring for one another. Tens of thousands of these groups are for men. Strictly confidential. No phonies. These groups are there to build disciples of Christ. Big meetings don't cut it. If you have more than 16 people, there's often one person who's talking and everyone else. Practicing Christians grow to be those who are able to both teach and listen with other people. Caring doesn't mean a group hug after a lecture. A language of faith or reverence is something that builds over a period of time. No one becomes a good fly fisherman or becomes an expert in some other kind of field at one seminar or weekend camp. And a language isn't learned in 4 introductory sessions. Now, if you happen to be in a church that has no group like this, find the website for your church's regional association or diocese. Look for these people or groups that can help you get started. Don't hesitate or invite people from other Christian traditions to be part of what you're doing or to give up or to give you ideas for a startup. Be prepared to have people hive off into new groups. This isn't a question of getting a tight group of best buddies who stick together forever. That's fine, but that's different. A personal agenda. Don't get caught up in rituals and patterns. When's the last time you heard of a successful political group, for example, that thrived through talking about the good old days or keeping the riffraff out? It doesn't work that way. Practicing Christians have learned that certain traditions and denominations can be wonderfully helpful in these things, but those aren't the center of what you're doing. Jesus Christ should be the one who occupies the center of your meeting and of your own heart when you're away from them. That's the true test of what you're doing. A few, very few, Christians that I know have a practice of writing themselves a Christmas letter. Each year, they look at who they've been, who they seem to be now, and who they hope they are becoming. It's often revealing. I'm told to see what really is at the heart of who they are. In other words, what's the language they are speaking to themselves? Practicing Christians usually have a system of rating themselves. We don't really need it. We simply need to be in touch with the one who will give us the language of truth and life, a language to live in our lives, and one which to speak to others. Our frequency in that language will increase with each occasion that we take to use it well, especially if that's in small groups. Serve then. Be the King's right arm.